to the elect of the nation of Israel. Kal halal yimna Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Ruach HaKodesh. And double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well and labor in his word and doctrine. This video is going to be fairly quick. Just want to go into this article here where it says man paralyzed from waist down uses microchip to drive race car. I'm just going to read it verbatim, man. So say it plainly. Read here. Denver, Colorado, yada. Thanks to an unbelievable technological breakthrough. A paralyzed man in Colorado is using his brain to drive. Okay, and this is the thing that they glorify it because they have to, man. They have to make people, get this very super have arousal about the whole idea, and to make it seem like it's 100% a positive thing. Because look what it's doing to people. It's helping them. Okay, let's watch this actually. Oh, is that an ad? The fuck? It's an ad of nothing.
At Pikes Peak International Raceway, high speeds and hard turns are nothing out of the ordinary. Neither are the skills and intense focus required to make it out unscathed.
It's an amazing experience.
This week, German Aldana Zuniga made it all look effortless, despite not touching the throttle a single time.
Since my accident, I don't have no mobility below my waist, so this is my first time driving the car, yeah.
9 years after that life-altering car wreck, Zuniga is using his thoughts to drive. It's a technological breakthrough pioneered by a team led by Colorado neurosurgeon Dr. Scott Fauci.
We're really proud.
So you can see they're pushing the agenda heavy, more really, in a way where they're using people like this. Like from what I've seen, basically, this is what they do. They use people who are basically, have some form of disability physically, okay, and then they use the chip, all right, for some type of way for them to neurologically be able to perform things they couldn't do, and they say, look, this is what this can do. It's all it's all basically for people to worship the chip as an idol, man. I read at Pikes Peak International Raceway. High speeds and hard turns are nothing out of the ordinary. Neither are the skills and intense focus required to make it out unscathed. I very much you pronounce it. And it says a recently driver, Aldana Zuniga, made it all look effortless despite not touching the throttle at all. Right? So it's like a miracle, man. You even have to use the fucking gear stick. You didn't have to fucking steal steal the wheel and use the pedal and all that shit. You just had to use his mind. Think about that, man. That's not fucking, that's fucking crazy. That's like, you should look at this and you should be like, what the fuck? Like, think about how fucking weird that is, man. Somebody used his fucking mind to drive something. That some people are going, that's a miracle, and there's a key word. All right, but really, this shit is fucking, that's bugged out, man. Like, you shouldn't want anything to do with this type of stuff. He said it's an amazing experience. He said, since my accident, I don't have no mobility below my waist. This is my first time driving the car, right? 9 years after a life-altering car wreck, Zuniga is able to drive using just his thoughts. Right, just his thoughts. It's a technological development pioneered by a team led by Colorado neurosurgeon Dr. Scott Fauci. We're really proud of what you've done. You certainly are fucking... You certainly are proud, man. All right, you motherfuckers are very boastful of this shit. And, man, in a carnal level, man, you should not want a fucking microchip in your fucking brain. This is the computer can pick that up, that particular electronic fingerprint, and feed that to the race car. Right, said Dr. Fauci. I skipped this bit. For more than a year, the group has worked so Zuniga can communicate between a microchip in his brain and a computer in the car. The computer can pick that up, that particular electronic fingerprint, and feed that to the race car. All right. So they always want to do all this so-called biometric stuff so they can basically monitor you. It's all a fucking facade to say it's for people to fucking be able to do things, man. It all relates to what the prophecies, all relate to how the prophecies are unfolding, what the prophecies go into, and they're going to use miracles to deceive, man. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. All right, and E is a fucking he's the wicked of the earth, man. How much of an enemy is he? And you know, like when we really see like how deceived everybody is, man, you can see that how clear it is. You know, like how he's the one who's going to fulfill these prophecies. It's not going to be the fucking Arabs who are going to roll out the chip like that, man. It's going to be okay, the so-called Arabs, you know, the Ishmaelites, because that's what they are, man. This the so-called Arab Ishmaelites, they're gonna follow after the image of the beast, all right, and that's referring to the likeness, the resemblance, because that's what image goes into. Icon in the Greek, where the word icon comes from, which is synonym for image, goes into the resemblance, the likeness, which basically means the doctrines and the philosophies of the beast, which is referring to Rome, which America is pushing out, man. And who rules over America? Is it Arabs? You fucking idiots, man, who fucking actually believe this? This doctrine that Arabs are fucking idiots, man. Going their own way. Now it says never trust thine enemy. So we cannot trust him, man. The narrative that he pushes out, you've always got to question, you've always got to be aware of what the fuck he says. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Alright, so when you go to this Revelation 13, I actually brought it out in the was it my previous video? Oh, I believe it was, you know. I believe it was my previous video. Alright, and when you go into this beast in verse 11, when he says, and I beheld another beast, referring to America, Babylon the Great. Okay. I read it, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. He spake as a dracon, okay? Like a serpent, man. A cunning, subtle serpent. He's making you think some type of way when he ain't really about that, man. And the two horns represent, you know, like the same way you had the plebeians and patricians, you got the Democrats and Republicans, right? This is what it's referring to. Okay, that's how it's, you know, it's structured in its so-called politics, which goes into, you know, the policy, you know, the civil affairs, the way everything's, the civil affairs, basically. Now, verse 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, which is referring to Rome, because it goes into that in verse 1 in Revelation 13, the beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns, which is Rome. And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Right, he was, you know, it's because Rome, at one point, okay, he wasn't ruling over it. It was actually our people. All right, that was called the so-called. That was that was the so-called Holy Roman Empire. There you are. But the deadly wound was healed because after, you know, during the Renaissance, which means the rebirth, he then took over that kingdom again, the land. He was ruling over it because he was actually a servant under us when he was ruling for 1,000 years. And this is all prophecy. I've got videos on it, but again, I want to make this video as quick as possible. Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. All right, and again, you know, there's some of that that's been brought out. The great wonder this is referring to is his ability to do stuff like drop nukes, like it did in Hiroshima. You know, one of the things that my brother mentioned, you know, the scorched earth campaign. All right, he does these type of wonders. And what does it do? Verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. But he's got many ways where he deceives by way of miracles, man. This is one of those things, this chip, man. All right, say it plainly, this microchip. I'm just going to say it as plain as day. All right, the RFID microchip in your right hand and what you call the Neuralink, which is basically a microchip in your forehead, in your head, man. That's also the mark of the beast, man. To say it plainly, I just want to say it plainly in this video, just to make it clear to anyone out there. It says, and deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. Right, he deceived them, okay, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. That's again referring to the doctrines and philosophies of Rome. That's what the image of the beast is. All right, and I'm reading, he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right, that's the wrath he's going to come with, man. We're going to see it, man. Okay, verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, so again, this mark, this Greek word, charagma, you're going to see it now. Charagma, a stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. Now, there's not only one Antichrist. You know, the scriptures make clear, 1 John chapter 2, verse 18 on down. There are many Antichrists, all right, many anti-messiahs, anti-Messiah. Many people who are anti-Messiah. Okay, that is not reserved for one person. Now, but this is a form of a way, of course, and a very, very clear one to identify who is anti the Messiah, because they're taking a mark upon them, an actual cutting within their flesh, for them to give reverence to their master and to make themselves a perpetual servant unto him. All right, that person who's going to roll out is E. So there you go. So these so-called Arabs, these Ishmaelites, they're going to take the mark of the beast, meaning they're going to say that they're true Edomites, all right, as perpetual servant. It says the mark branded upon horses, thin carved sculpture graven work, right? Because it's going to be actual cutting and graving. Just like the root word is haraks. It goes into a stake, a palisade, something that's cut, that you cut with, man, right? Because a palisade is really for a stake, like a wooden stake. It's referring to basically like wooden planks that you cut. You cut into the ground, basically. You may not seem like cut. It pokes through, you know what I mean? Just to make it more clear. Okay. Again, this charagma goes into cutting and graving, man. Thin carved sculpture graving. When something's graven, it goes into etching, cutting, man. And that's going to be in your right hand or your forehead. It says that he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you're going to be able to buy or sell if you don't have the mark, the charagma, or the name of the beast. And taking that name basically is by taking that chip, man, and following this. And taking the chip is part of following the philosophies. It all ties in. And taking the name goes into you making him your master forever by taking that chip, man. You're taking his name, because just like when your man takes a wife, when he, goes into his wife, he penetrates his wife, and then she then what? She's then his possession. Same thing will apply, man. That's what he wants. He's making it seem like, oh, all you people who are fucking, paralyzed, or you guys with Parkinson's, or you guys you can't see, you can now do all these things if you take this. It's good, this is actually a good thing that we're rolling out. It's really him. He just wants to have everything. He just wants to make you his servant forever. He wants to track everything, all your records within you. That's what this guy's about, man. And again, it says that no man might buy or sell. You won't be able to buy anything, okay, in this world, the way the world's structured, man. And then sell, you won't be able to even work if you don't sell. If you're not like a person who sells stuff, right? Some people might say that, well, I don't sell. Well, you're selling your service, and by actually working and doing, services for the way things are running in this world when you work, man. So you won't be able to do that unless you take it. There you go. So save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And that number, you go, verse 18, here's wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603, which means 666. Now this, when you go into this, man, this letter here, all right, this actually goes into basically like a charaks again. All right, when you look up this word, there's a Hebrew, like if you look at the Hebrew word sa, it gives you this as a Greek derivative, and a samak, or as they say samek, really samak, will go into a tent peg, something that is like basically a stake or a palisade. All right, charaks. Now, when you go to this word here, this letter here, which would be the word stigma, which we're gonna see here, stigma. All right, from a primary word stizo, to stick, to prick. There you go. That's what it says over here. There you go. This is a mark pricked in or branded upon the body to ancient Oriental usage. There you go. Slaves and soldiers bore the name. Let's try again. Slaves, right? Servants. All right, and soldiers who really are just high-level servants, because they're willing to put their fucking life on the line, their sanity, everything on the line to fight for fucking man. All right, it says, and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. And really, when you're doing that, you are, when you take the mark of the beast, you're basically saying Esau is your god, man. You're a judge, your ruler, the power over you, who can track everything in you. And if he wants to take everything away from you, he can do that using the fucking chip, man. He wants to basically have power over you completely, and this is his method of doing it. This is his heaven that he's trying to make, but it's not going to work, man. All right, because Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, is going to disappoint them. There's nothing they can do about it. So I'm end off here. Adon Ratazah, this video was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ruach Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and labor in this word and doctrine. Shalom.